This background color feels Valentine's Day, right? Like, more so than the purple? Or purple? Purple or pink? I feel like the pink, right? The pink. Hey guys, and welcome to today's video that I personally, myself, am very excited about because, you know, Valentine's Day is around the corner, and so that means that now makeup brands are going to capitalize on that with their Valentine's Day releases, which, don't get me wrong, they're tempting, okay? They're catching my eye too, but this video is all about reminding you about those palettes that you have in your collection that are unexpectedly perfect for Valentine's Day. So that's what we're here to chat about, but if you are new, hello and welcome. My name is Kelly, and I love all things makeup and beauty. I love talking, I love makeup, I love talking about makeup. So if you like to chat about makeup too, this is the place for you. Stick around, because we're chatting about Valentine's palettes. So this video started when I was taking a peek at the Colourpop release, because every year Colourpop is going to come out with a Valentine's Day collection. It's just what they do, and there's nothing wrong with that. And if you love the pinks, and if you love a monochromatic pink, and if you love Valentine's Day colors, listen, I'm wearing pink. I'm wearing it right now. If you love those, then these new makeup releases may be exciting for you, and there's nothing wrong with that. But at the end of the day, for me personally, I purposely wore pink today for this video. I don't really wear pink eyeshadow all that often. I wore it in the spirit of Valentine's Day, so I'm not going out and purchasing a monochromatic pink eyeshadow palette. So that sparked my curiosity at the makeup that I already had in my collection, and these palettes are unexpectedly perfect for Valentine's Day. So we're just gonna go ahead and get started, and I might as well start with what's on my eyes because I know y'all are gonna be curious, and some of you may have already checked the description box, but it is this palette right here, which was a collaboration between my bestie Heather Austin and Unearthly Cosmetics. This is the Resurgence palette. I do have a full video talking about this palette and creating some looks, but when I was thinking about Valentine's Day, I was like, okay, I mean, like, I wanna wear pink, but like, I'm not fully committing to a 100% pink palette. I did automatically think of Heather's palette though, because she has this beautiful Nymph shade, which I do have in the crease, but I was a little concerned that Nymph was gonna be a bit too bright, so you can see I mixed it with this Life shade, which is more of like a satin white, which lightened up the pink for me, and I took Cerambus and kind of blended out my crease, and then I went in with this beautiful Solar Symbol shade. This is like very shifty. I mean, I could have gone in with this one right here too in Jewel, but Solar Symbol is very shifty. It does capture the essence of the pink, but it also has a little bit of like green gold in it too, and I felt like this makeup look was very Valentine's Day, in my opinion, Valentine's Day appropriate, because I do typically think of pink. I don't typically think of red when I'm thinking of Valentine's Day. I think of pink, but even if I wanted to go the red route, I do have two red shades right here also. So when I'm thinking of my Resurgence palette, I'm not thinking like, what a great Valentine's Day palette, but in all honesty, it's gonna work for Valentine's Day, y'all. And it worked for this look. We're gonna stick with collaborations, and we're gonna stick with my friends because that is just the kind of girl that I am. And I do have the Odens Eye collab with Angelica Nyqvist, my friend Angie. This is her original collab, the Hella palette that she came out with. And this palette, again, when I'm thinking of the Hella palette, I'm not thinking, wow, what a fantastic Valentine's Day palette, but y'all, it is. It is, because we do have these row of pinks right here. We do have the shade Hella, we have Goddess to deepen it out, we have Hellfire that you can put all over the lid, or even if you're not interested in a pink look for Valentine's Day and you want to go more of the smokier route, I do think this bottom row in River, Soot, and Complete would also give you like a smoky vibe, but if you pair it with these pinks, it's going to give you more Valentine's Day. Honestly, more Valentine's Day glam. You could go lighter Valentine's Day or mix these pink shades in with either Complete or River and have that glam look. And this palette instantly sprang to mind because I was racking my brain for palettes that have pinks in it. And I mean, I think of Hella and I'm thinking of like the greens and the browns, but really you do have the pink shades in here that you could use to create the most beautiful Valentine's Day look. So that is how the Hella palette got into this eyeshadow video. I want you to take a moment to go back to your childhood, or if you have kids, young kids, think of those classic Disney movies that spark the romance. If you are thinking of the old school classic Disney movies that spark romance, which one of those movies are you going to think of with Valentine's Day? Just think. There's a couple, like Lady and the Tramp. I don't know if that's Disney, but that's like a romance, right? Ariel, Little Mermaid, that doesn't really spark. I know it's like a love story. I mean, they all are, but that doesn't really spark the romance for me. Lion King definitely is not it. If I'm thinking romance and Valentine's Day and roses that are falling to the ground, I am thinking of Beauty and the Beast. And last year in 2023, Sigma did a collab with the Disney movie Beauty and the Beast, and they came out with this beautiful palette here. And when I am thinking of Beauty and the Beast and this beautiful palette, of course my eyes are drawn to Belle and the Beast and the gold and the neutral shades. But do not let that stop you from looking at this quad over here. Right here on the end of the palette, we have Pots, we have Rose Petal, we have Ma Chérie, and we have Ego. And those 4 shades, that quad right there, that's a Valentine's Day look, y'all. You don't even have to purchase a new eyeshadow palette to get a Valentine's Day look, because I know a lot of people are Disney fans. I know a lot of people are Sigma fans. I know a lot of people love when Disney and Sigma come together. I know I was super excited about this eyeshadow palette. And I didn't typically think like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna pull that out for Valentine's Day. But in looking back, I mean, realistically, this quad right here would give you a very beautiful look for Valentine's Day. And I don't feel like you need to go out and get a new monochromatic eyeshadow look if you want the pinks and the purples. You got it right here. I definitely feel like I've touched on like the bright pink, but that's not really the only color story that I personally am thinking of when I'm thinking of Valentine's Day. I'm staying in that kind of color family, like the pinks and the purples, but I'm also very into like the romantic rose tones. And the Vieve Muse eyeshadow palette speaks romance to me. I actually haven't pulled this out in a while, and I really do need to pull it out and create some beautiful looks, because this shade right here in Regal is everything. This shade is so stunning. I don't have anything like it in my collection. I've worn it on the eyes before. It's an absolutely beautiful shade. Not one that I would think of for like every day when I'm trying to like get up and go, you know what I mean? But it's a beautiful, beautiful Valentine's Day shade. You could also tap into the golds. You go with these like very romantic, rich, rosy mattes and pop the gold in the center, and that's going to be stunning as well. But for a Valentine's Day look that is sure to be a showstopper, I really would reach for the Regal shade in this palette. Speaking of the romance, speaking of the rose gold, bringing the love into the picture, my Patrick Ta Major Dimension 2 palette is another one that came to mind when I was thinking of these Valentine's Day looks, because first of all, this palette is stunning. I love it. It's beautiful. It's a beautiful eyeshadow palette. You really do have shimmers that pack a punch, that stand out, that are beautiful on the lids. I really like to incorporate these shades right here, these cream shades, as like a beautiful base. You have a deeper one if you want to go with a smokier vibe. You have a lighter one if you want to go for a more neutral vibe. But these shimmers are just gorgeous. They're stunning. They're amazing. But especially this shade right here in, I don't know what its name is, but this one. This one right here. That's probably my most reached for shimmer shade out of this palette, and it's one that I feel like would create a beautiful romantic look without being like the bright Barbie pink, because not everybody's into the bright Barbie pink. Not everybody wants like a royal, rich, vibrant purple or rosy purple on their eyes. So this would be a great one if you're looking for a little bit more toned down, but you do want the romantic look. I feel like this shade right here. What is it? Is it Lust? Is it Lust? Is it Loyal and Unfaithful? A Fair Desire? Lust? You get the picture, right? You get the picture. Everybody's style is not like mine. Everybody doesn't want to be toned down. Some people for Valentine's Day want to bring the smoke, want to bring the glamour, want to stand out. And I really feel like my Natasha Denona, my dream palette, would be a good one if you want to get a little bit smokier, a little bit deeper, and really pack a punch with your makeup look for Valentine's Day. I love this Vision shade. It's got like a duochrome shift. Can you see it in the mirror? How it looks more purple here, but if you see it up there, it looks green. You have the berry shades. You have this deep edgy shade. You have a black if you really do want to bring the intensity, or you could even go on the lighter end with Babies, which is more of a topper, with the gold Invention shade that has a little bit of the berry mixed into it, or Risk. I feel like this palette is versatile. You have like a very smoky section up here. This one, again, if I'm thinking Valentine's Day, it's not popping out at me, but when I really dive deep into my collection and a look that I would want to create for Valentine's Day, this palette really gives it to me. Now, I do have two palettes that I want to share with you that are not in my collection. One has been decluttered, and it is the Glamlite Ice Cream Dream palette. I held on to that palette for a while because it's a beautiful pastel. If you're looking for a more pastel look with the pinks, with the purples, if you want to incorporate some different colors, that would be a great palette for pastel shades. I don't love the Glamlite formula. I've talked about that before, and y'all, it just comes down to personal preference. The shimmers are like those squishy putty shimmers that I can't pick up with a brush. I have to use my finger, and I very much want to use a brush and not my finger, and the putty is difficult for me to work with sometimes. So I decluttered that on to my friend Alex, who is definitely enjoying the palette. It's more her style. I have friends in the space who love the Glamlite formula. It's a favorite for them. So you just have to know your preferences. You have to know what you're looking for, but if you have that palette, I think that it would be a great one to pull out for this season. And then we have a palette that I've never owned, but I instantly thought of this palette with Valentine's Day, and it's the Huda Beauty Rose Quartz. I have not owned that palette. Alter Ego did send me their Inspired By version, which I did declutter to a girlfriend of mine, but I instantly thought of the Huda Rose Quartz when thinking about Valentine's Day. It's very soft, it's very ethereal, it has the pinks, it has the purples. It definitely is a palette that I feel like encompasses the Valentine's Day vibe, the pink vibe, the romance vibe. So if you have that in your collection, you don't necessarily need to go run out and get the newest Valentine's Day launch. You have those beautiful shades in a more wearable, in my opinion, eyeshadow palette. But that's gonna do it for this video. I would love to know your thoughts down below. Are we feeling like I did a good job picking these Valentine's Day palettes? Y'all, I really, it is fun to go out and get the new makeup and purchase what's hot, but I really personally am on this journey of like, I don't want to purchase it just for a collab, meaning, like the Twilight, or just for a season like Valentine's Day. If I'm purchasing makeup, I want it to be makeup that I'm revisiting. So I really wanted to take a minute, like Valentine's Day can be fun. Not everybody loves Valentine's Day. It can be fun. It can be fun to be girly and pink, to vamp it up, smoke it up, to pull out maybe shades that you wouldn't wear all of the time. But at the same time, I feel like those colors and those shades are probably accessible in your collection if you already have a little bit of a larger collection, or if you have a variety of palettes in your collection. And let's not forget about those. Let's bring those back out. There are probably some palettes that I missed. So if you have an unexpected Valentine's Day eyeshadow palette in your collection, I would love for you to let us know down below and remind us to pull it out. But otherwise, that's gonna do it for this one. Thank you guys so much for watching, and make sure to subscribe before you go. That way I can see you in the next one. Bye.